This is the One Block Wonder Quilt, and I designed it. I'm Rita Nau. And I wanted to, when I made this quilt, I also wanted to incorporate the faces of the animals that were in the fabric. It was such beautiful fabric. I just couldn't, I just envisioned these faces sticking out. So I'm going to show you how to incorporate those faces into your quilt. Now I'm assuming that you've already, of course, had the directions and you've cut out your pieces and you've sewn together your hexes. So the first thing we're going to do, the first step for this, is to take the fabric that matches the pieces of the faces of the animals. So put them in different piles, 4 piles. So there's the lion pile, the leopard pile, lioness pile, and the zebra pile. And we're going to go from there. The first one we're going to do is the leopard. So this is the fabric that we're working with. This is an Alexander Henry fabric. It's maybe a year old or so, maybe a little bit more, but I know you can still find some of it online. So you should check online if you're looking for it. But this is what I started with, and this is what I cut out my faces with. So here's the piece that I've just completed. I'm going to attach that to this piece. I wanted to show you how this works. So what I've done is I've cut this piece because it's the right, I can get this image in there. I've cut this to the same width as one of my hexagons here. So that's how wide this is. So, but I want to continue to use my One Block Wonders, of course. So I have turned it under, and I'll pin it in there. Now I'll sew around that. And so I have the same thing on the other side. I've turned it under, and I've pinned it. So I will attach this piece to this piece. But as you can tell, of course, this was not, you can't see the rest of that. So I have cut out a piece that I will eventually, before I get done, I will put that over the top so it hangs over. And it just makes it look almost 3D. It does a really nice job. I'm really pleased with it. Now, I purposely planned this dark piece here. I moved it around quite a bit till I got this piece here because I wanted when his chin went over. When his chin went over, I wanted it to be on a dark spot. So you have to plan out your blocks pretty well. But that's the fun part of it too. When you're starting out, what you're going to do is you're going to decide what animal you're working with. And if you've noticed, I've taken just the hexes that are part of the zebra, and I've surrounded this whole area with zebra. Now, I do it in 4 sections because there's 4 animal heads. So this is the zebra part. And then when I'm done with this, I'll go and put the leopard part on top of this, above it. But you want to plan it out that way. One Block Wonder. And as you can see, all of the different, not this, but all of the different blocks. The blocks are like this. And I want it, and this is a zebra print that was there with the picture of the zebra on the print. But so here what I've done is I've cut out the face of that, but it still doesn't look right. But I have to get them in the parameters of these blocks. So what I did is I laid this in here, but then I have gone and actually cut out from another piece of fabric the pieces. Let me move this over a little bit. All right. So we've gone from this, which doesn't show up, but if I take this piece and put it over the top, and now I'll sew that down, and you'll almost get a 3D. And I did the same thing with this. So I'm going to, and now you can actually see it looks very 3D. And here I did the same thing. I short a nose, cut out a section, and lay it over there. And all of a sudden it becomes a 3D look. Now, when I go to sew this, I will just sew around it. And when I quilt it, you'll never see where this begins and this ends. But what it does is it makes everything pop up. So I have 6 other animals to do, and I will record how that looks as I get each one done. But just that one little thing takes it and makes it 3D. I'm going to assume that you have the pattern and you have already cut your hexes. This is the part where you're designing, where you want to put all those hexes. And this is just a short little clip on how I put it together. The lioness piecing is based on exactly the same method that I use for both the zebra and the leopard. So just do the same thing. Find the colors that match that those lioness and surround them and drop them in. Now the lion was pretty easy because what I did is I placed all of his colors around, and then he's bigger than most, so I just placed him right across all of the dark pieces and he blended right in. You want to plan how you're going to piece those pieces together. What I mean is you'll get the lion and the face and everything around it, but then you have to add to it. So my suggestion is don't do what I did, because what I did was I did it kind of crisscross back and forth, and I've shown you here on the diagram back and forth. Well, I had to meet 6 corners on most of those points, so don't do that. It drove me crazy. So kind of plan it out so that you add your hexes in the right way so that you can do just a 45-degree angle and put it together. Believe me, it'll take a lot less time. So the last step, of course, is to quilt the quilt. So I put it all together, and I like to do a lot of thread painting. So I really just kind of outlined and jig-jagged and made all of the pieces kind of just fit in. I quilted very closely around the face so it would lift off of the quilt. It's one of my favorite quilts I've made, and it didn't take that long. I have to say, it was sitting on my wall for a couple years, but when I decided to finally attack it, it took less than a week to get it all together. So not that difficult, just a thinking process. So I wish you luck. If you have questions, you can certainly contact me, and be more than happy to help you.